All right, is everybody here?
Yeah.
All right. Good afternoon. Some of you might be wondering why I'm dressed like this today. I became an ordained minister. And initially it started out because, that's what my mom would have expected me to do, honestly. She would have expected nothing less from me. I am, just so everybody is, I'm up front with everybody and honest with everybody, I am agnostic, leaning toward atheist as it comes to religion. But I don't behoove anybody who has religion, no matter what the religion is. And so when I became ordained, I chose to become ordained under a ministry that has no denomination. They, for lack of a better term, don't care who you are or what you do, as long as you care for one another, and as long as you're willing to do things for one another, and as long as you believe in something, even if it's that there's nothing. And so I chose that to be ordained under, so I didn't, for lack of a better term, step on anybody's toes. And honestly, that was going to be the end of it. It was going to be an inside family thing, and just a little fun. But yesterday things got a little more serious. My sister notified me that due to miscommunication, there wouldn't be a minister at my mom's proceedings today, so I got to work and I put together something for this today. I'll be doing a service in the beginning. I tried to take care and tried to be true and respectful to what my mom's wishes would be. Know that after this is done, my mother will be cremated, and eventually her ashes will be reunited with her mother in Philadelphia. And at that point, there will be a pastor overseeing that. So, like I said, I'm going to do every bit of honor that I can, given who I am, to my mother, but also somebody who is official will also be doing something for her later on down the road. I would like to begin with a passage from John chapter 14, verses 1 through 3. Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you. And when I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again, and I will take you to myself, that where I am, you may also be. My mom was not really religious until later in life, and it had a lot to do with the way that her life had transpired. My mom had gone through a lot, had seen a lot, and so she questioned how a God could put her through so many things, so many trials and tribulations in her life. If you look to the first epistle of Peter, chapter 4, verse 1, it says, "Therefore, since Christ suffered in his body, arm yourselves also in the same attitude, because whoever suffers in the body is done with sin." If anyone has suffered in the body, it was my mom. If anybody knows her, they know that she suffered a lot, in a lot of different ways in her life. And later it was that her body was failing her. Revelations chapter 21, verse 4 states, "He will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself will be with them. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain anymore, for the former things have passed away." I always struggle with the term rest in peace. Never really understood why people said it, what it meant. And then over the last few days, it really hit me. I realized it wasn't really about the living. It is more about who passed. And so I need everybody to take comfort in the fact that my mom is at peace. Right now, I would ask for a moment of silence. No matter what your religion is, if you pray a moment of prayer and a moment to reflect on knowing that she's no longer in pain and that she's no longer in suffering. As is typically said in the Christian faith, peace be with you all. In death, everything can seem so permanent. Someone's life, in this case our mother, is taken and we were left with more questions than answers. My brother John shows the following. Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 13, 14. Brothers and sisters, we do not want you to be uninformed about those who sleep in death, so that you do not grieve like the rest of mankind who have no hope. For we believe that Jesus died and rose again, and so we believe that God will bring with Jesus those who have fallen asleep in him. As you will soon find out, my mother was a special person, to say the least. If anyone ever deserved to be allowed passage to the kingdom of heaven, it would have to be my mother. I would like everyone to take comfort in that. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 13 states, "And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love." Love. It's a word that has a lot of power behind it. The power to build relationships, to build families, and friendships that last a lifetime. Lifetime isn't the right word to use. My mother will be loved beyond her lifetime, beyond mine and likely beyond my children's. Eternal is a more apt word to use in relation to my mother. Even if you only knew a little bit of Alice Pullman, Alice Zitz, whatever, Mrs. P, Big Mama P, Mama Alice, G-Ma, Grandma, several other words that her and I exchanged that I can't say here. Even if you only knew a little bit of her, soon after hearing my eulogy, you'll walk away likely remembering at least one thing about her. Through that, she will live on in all of us. Though she may not have always said it, love is what my mother gave to those closest to her. I hope that everyone here felt that, and will continue to feel that beyond. I would like to end this part of the service by asking if anybody would like to speak. Once that has happened and everyone is done, I will give my eulogy. Does anybody want to talk? Somebody. I knew I could count on else. You can't steal my words. Don't steal my thunder here.
My gram, she loved every single one of us, no matter what. And the way she died was tragic. It shouldn't happen the way she died. But I was there every step of the way. I checked her every time, every night to make sure she breathed. She was my dog. She was the only one who accepted me. I'm not gonna lie. If I didn't have nobody else, I had my grandma by my side. And now that she's gone, I just know she's gonna be right beside me, no matter what. Because now, since I'm driving in my car, she's gonna be with me no matter what. Now I don't have to go wait and go home to go see her. So, that's it.
Here, I
Oh, great. My offspring gets to speak.
So, living kind of far, not very far, obviously, but not being able to see her all the time, I still thought of her a lot, and still missed her. We used to live with her for a while, then we moved out, and that's when we started to see her less. And at first, hearing of her death, of course, I was saddened, but it takes a while to settle in, knowing that you'll never get to see her again. But as my dad said, Father, now, Daddy, now she'll live through us all, through everything that we know about her and everything that's about to be said, as I also proofread the eulogy. But there's one thing, I know that she loved us no matter what. No matter how far the distance, no matter how long it had been since we saw her, she always checked up on us, always made sure we were all right, and wanted to know how things were. So I just want to say that I loved her, and like Nelson said, she loved absolutely everyone in this room.
Anyone else? Chickens. Oh, see, I see chicken and John steps up. Feeding frenzy, big man. Ever since
before my mom passed away. Ever since she ended up on hospice, every day I'd like to see her. She was always in pain, but that really didn't affect her too much. She would always ask. Every time she saw me, if I came in through the front door, say, "Hey, Doc," she always asked about everybody else. And that's the thing that Mom had. She had the biggest heart. It just didn't matter who you were or what. She found some type of good in everybody. And she's a person that compares to nobody. I know with me being her son, I'm gonna say that, but it's true. I mean, ever since from whenever I was younger, playing hockey, she drives everywhere. She was like her mom and dad. That's what she was. And she was more or less the backbone of this family. And trying to find the words to how I feel about her, or just the experiences, it's hard. And I don't think you can really put into words how much love that's shared by everybody, shared by myself. But she was always there, every step of the way, fighting. And now she's, I don't know if she is not spinal down. And she would be happy.
She's smiling down, I promise you that.
Actually,
You see your brother right now.
She looks like this. So she's one of the few. There's no one else like her. I know we all love her, and she loves us so much. Just speechless. Still sorry. We love you, Mom. Don't worry about this. Just do it.
I should have eulogy after, why are you all emotional? Anyone else? All right, here goes. I'm gonna talk a little bit about my mom. Promise to try to keep this short. Probably not. But if you knew her at all, you knew that was impossible anyway. So here goes. I'm gonna read a lot off of this because there's a lot here. My mom was a hard worker. All the time she worked. 2, sometimes 3 jobs, no matter the task, if it made money, she was taking it on. It's likely where the work ethic of her children come from. Her sister Marlena has more jobs than a Jamaican immigrant. In fact, she wanted to work today before this, and I told her absolutely not. That's true story. My brother John has worked 2 jobs before in his life, and also worked full-time while going to school to get his college degree. And there's Mario. Mario hustled in his own way. They're not always on the same side of the law as the rest of us. But nevertheless, he's always hustling. As for me, I've worked 2 full-time jobs and part-time jobs, as well as working over 100 hours a week on my job on multiple occasions. We didn't do it simply for the money. We do it because that work ethic was driven into us from an early age. That's not the only trait we received. Oh no, there are many others. My mom had traits we would call off the beaten path. The best way I can describe these is by trying to figure out the best way to describe this to make it congruent for everybody. The best way I can describe it is by going through some of the cars. She loved cars, nearly as much as horses. She didn't pick good cars, practical cars, or cars that have reliability. They were almost always an extension of her personality. She once owned an old Chevy Impala station wagon that she drove into an above-ground swimming pool after losing the brakes while traveling through town. That pool happened to be owned by a Pennsylvania state trooper. So my mom did what any rational young woman living on her own would do. She jammed that car in reverse and left the scene and didn't go back to the town. My mom also had a 1970 Chevelle SS 396 that was blue with black stripes and a Landau top when I was a toddler. It also had more rust than that Frick Park Bridge that just collapsed over in Pittsburgh not too long ago. And also fell prey to the no brakes monster, nearly driving through a gas station once with me inside of his baby. Still, if you ask her about that car, it was the fastest thing on almost 4 wheels. There was no item too big and no time too late to go trash picking in her 1970 Cadillac sedan to Ville. I was forced to help carry console radios and TVs that were heavier than a dying star and larger than a Boeing 747. Tables, chairs, hutches, and sturdy vacuums all found their way into our home after a long night of turning others' trash into our treasure. Everything out of price, and if it was free, my mom would likely find a way to make a few bucks on it. Either reselling it or making it a part of her yard sale extravaganza. We could find homemade cookies, sodas, used wigs, and iron with no power cord at this price.
No.
She had so many old TVs at one point. Forgive me for this. She had so many old TVs at one point that I called the house Circuit Shade. There was a 1974 Buick Sabre Luxus convertible with a trailer hitch welded to the bumper, and no back window that was used to pull a horse trailer for my mom's business. Ponies for birthday parties. Yeah, that's right. You could have my mom in a tube top sometimes if you were so lucky, and I'd pull up to your house in a convertible, top down, pulling a trailer that should have been scrapped 4 years ago, carrying a pony that would defecate everywhere, possibly due to carbon monoxide poisoning, or finally understanding that it had just spent a 30-minute ride watching its life flash before its eyes. You see, my mom was born on a farm outside of Philadelphia and grew up around horses, showing and barrel racing them. We had a Palomino pony named Dude, and later another pony named Holly. Just so it's mentioned, my mom grew up on the farm. We did not own a farm. Just a 3-bedroom house literally in the middle of a tiny little town called Yukon. There was a point in time where the ponies would stay in our yard because they couldn't go anywhere else. That yard was about the size of this room, and I'm not exaggerating. You can look it up on Google Maps. And also in that yard and around it and on the street were 7 cars where maybe one of them was operating at any given time. In hindsight, the ponies were the most reliable transportation we ever had. And the pony Holly was blind. If you had a free pool in the early section of the newspaper, within an hour you would have a woman pulling up in a 1978 Lincoln Town Coupe with her pudgy, awkward preteen son and 2 to 3 other rugrats in tow to tear it down so they could erect it in their yard and use it for another 2 years beyond its life cycle. I only prayed it didn't rain because the moonroof would leak so badly. We had old Tupperware and towels in the car we would use in a game I like to call Mom Hits a Hard Left and one of the kids catches the water from the moonroof one way or another. It really was like being in the raging rapids sometimes. You never knew who was going to get wet. Oh, and FYI, that Lincoln also had a door latch issue on the passenger side, one in which my sister found out firsthand when it opened while my mother was driving and Marlena, not keeping her seatbelt on, exited stage right.
Mom kept going.
She could be seen rolling behind the car. She could be seen rolling behind the car, and while I found it funny, my mother did not. She then tried to give me that car when I turned 16 and started driving. Interesting. Throughout my childhood, I assembled and disassembled no less than 4 to 5 above-ground swimming pools. As one would finally bite the dust, usually due to rotting out, another would take its place. Can't find a pool in the paper in the middle of the summer? Not to worry, my mom's got you covered. The pool was left in the liner of the bed of a 1979 Ford Ranchero that drove down in front of the house and fell out. The looks people would give as they drove by with 3 kids and their mothers splashing around on the side of the road in the bed of a car truck with no transmission, and it was usually met with the middle finger and the, what the F are you looking at? With that one raised eyebrow, people's eyebrow, we like to call it, my mom was so good at giving. Then there were the Christmas trees. Oh, the Christmas trees. If they were any shorter than 12 feet tall and less than 10 feet wide, She wasn't interested. It would take 3 adults and most of the children every bit of strength it was to mustered just to push it through the door. Once inside, we usually spring back, breaking something in the house or knocking someone over, and sending needles flying to parts unknown. No less than 4 anchor points were placed in the wall, with fishing line resembling steel cable that would hold it upright. I swear my mom had an engineering degree because just the fact that she made it inside the house and the thing was standing upright was a feat to be marveled. Also, it was no longer a living room, it was now a tree sanctuary. As a convenience store manager one year, my mom borrowed the Keebler Townhouse promo cardboard house that was supposed to be used as part of a Christmas display in shopping sales and Foodlands. By borrowed, I think she either stole it from the driver or swindled it from him when he wasn't looking. She brought it home and set it up and in what was left of the living room, and the 4 of us promptly began throwing ourselves and each other through the door and the window of it. My mom also had a hot streak. Her temper was legendary among the people in towns that we lived in and amongst friends. She once pulled a gun on a 19-year-old friend of mine after he beat me up at 14 and refused to pay me for work I had done at the horse stable for him. She made him empty his pockets and then gave him 24 hours to come up with the rest of the money, all while aiming a Phoenix Arms .25 auto across my face and at him. Her famous words to him were, "Don't make me come looking for you." Guess what? The next day he was knocking on the door to pay his debt. She was also waiting for me once when I got off the bus with a baseball bat. You see, there was an incident with me, a couple of my friends, some windows that may or may not have belonged to a post office. I watched a 50-minute tirade where all of my possessions in my room were met with the end of the Louisville Slugger. She also used to chase us with those giant wooden fork and spoons that every person had on their walls in the 70s and 80s. And I consider myself to be a pretty good shot with a pistol and with a rifle. I know where I got it from. My mom was an absolute marksman with a shoe. She could hit you from 40 feet out with a shoe just by turning and just hit you with it, and you're down. Oh, and whoever stole a coupon box from the truck, you were lucky you didn't find out. She never found out who you were because she was seeing red. So red, in fact, she called the police when it was stolen from her truck, cursed out the officer for chuckling at her passion over the box, then jumped the parking lot retainer, an island, laid tire in her truck the whole way down the street, and then got pulled over by those same cops. They let her off. My mom was what the show Extreme Couponing was created after. She kept a size 15 to 18 shoebox full of coupons, every one of them known to man, in little dividers. She knew the double coupon days and whether it was up to 99 cents for the double coupons and more or how to get things for next to nothing. The top of the shopping cart where you normally place toddlers did not exist for any other reason than to be a shelf where she would keep the coupon box. Screw the kids, we've got food to get. She'd meander from aisle to aisle comparing prices and what the coupons offered. And hell hath no fury like a store manager who had to deal with her sales receipt if it was off by 45 cents. Because you were getting both barrels of an Alice mouth cannon, while our kids, especially me, hit over the fact that she was arguing about 45 cents. She was getting her money, one way or the other, either through a refund or bloodshed. There are many other stories I can tell you about my mom, and each one is funnier and more shocking than the last. There's context behind these stories. Context which I hadn't seen pieced together fully until after she passed. Damn it, this word's gonna fall apart, I knew it. That wagon that drove into the pool is the same wagon that my mom used to take to my real father's family. They owned a farmer's market. And my mom, she was a single mother. She was an EMT and worked at a place called Cartex, which is where she lost her one index finger, part of her index finger. She got caught in a machine and lost part of it. And she never tried to go after him for child support or anything. She just asked him for help. And, you know, as is the way that most guys were in their life, they weren't worth the time of day. So my mom, being Alice, decided to get even and stole from his family's market every day to feed. And more than likely, that's where she was coming from. She was coming from that market to buy it, to, you know, not buy it. I mean, she didn't buy it. She borrowed it, kind of, I guess, you'd say. I mean, she can give it back now if you want. The first place that her and I lived in was a one-room efficiency. That was probably 1/12 the size of this room. It didn't have a kitchen. It had a couch and a bathroom, and the bathroom was where she washed all the dishes. And I slept on the couch and she slept on the floor. Trash picking and yard sales were her hustle, to keep the lights on in the house for us and to keep us fed. Finding trash and making a treasure bought us the food we ate or the kerosene and the heaters that we used to stay warm in the winter when our furnace didn't work, or we couldn't afford to put fuel in the furnace. All the pulls were her way in small part of giving us something that not everyone had. A way of keeping up with the Joneses, if you will. Granted, if the Joneses lived on food stamps or the reduced racket shop and safe. The pull in the truck was about having fun, no matter who the hell is looking around at you. Christmas was a big deal for her because it was the only time she felt she could really show us love. By bouncing checks and selling everything she had, just so my sister could have the crappy first edition Cabbage Patch, or I could get the giant Voltron, or so that my brothers could have the newest Sega and Sega Channel. I remember one year helping my mom wrap presents on Christmas morning at 5 a.m. because she'd been working so much that she had just gotten off of her shift at work and came home. That was the first chance she got to wrap. So I sat and wrapped presents with her until it came time for me to get mine, and I had to go to my room. Every year, we would have to wait until at least 8 o'clock, if not 9 o'clock, to come downstairs for Christmas, and I always hated it. Always hated it. And I didn't realize it until later why, but it was because she had worked 7 days in a row, 18, 20 hours a day, and that was the only time that she had to get 2 hours of sleep before we got to open up presents. That time she pulled a gun, I did a stand-up about it, and I talked to her about it, and she told me that the reason why she reacted that way was because there was a 72-hour shut-off notice, and we were 2.5 days into that. They were going to shut off the electricity if she didn't have that money. And so that's why she went after him, because at that time, it wasn't my money, it was family money. You don't mess with my mom's family. Coupons were a way of outsmarting the system, a way for her to take nothing and turn it into $312.56 worth of food and household amenities, all for the low price of $57.19. My mom would go years never buying a single shirt or shoes for herself, just to ensure that her kids had before she did. When my son was born, she came and lived with me, with my ex-wife in Pittsburgh, just so she could watch him, get to know him, and help ease the burden of a new mom learning her way around a baby. I won't say it was an easy transition by any stretch of the imagination, if you guys know my mom. My mom was very opinionated and did not do well with people extinguishing her opinions. When my oldest daughter was born, my kids and my ex-wife stayed with my mom and my sister while she worked her way through the stresses of being a mother to 2 children. Big Mama Alice got this. She helped raise my sister's 4 children, their cousins, and wayward friends, as my sister has enjoyed collecting kids like Pokemon cards. That's all, right, Marlena? My mom wasn't perfect. She didn't always get it right. But she tried harder than anybody I've ever met in my life, likely ever will. And worked with what she given, which was not much at all. She loved her children and grandchildren fiercely. Every call was an update on grandkids and asking how others are doing. My friends and other people in my life were always asked about and given the utmost respect that most would never even think of. You could feel the pride in You could feel the pride through the phone after telling her that my son won a wrestling tournament or placed in a chess tournament, or that my daughters were doing well in cheer or at a chorus concert. She would talk about her immediate family with pride, always to others, even when we didn't deserve it. She was always willing to help, no matter the task, even if she understood nothing about it. She spent her life helping others, caring for others, and barely, if ever, taking that care upon herself. My mom was crazy and outside the norm for sure. She taught us all life lessons that most will never be exposed to, and that is why our kids have always been ready to take on the world, no matter what is thrown at us. Who the hell has their phone on? Bored and Kevin. Her laugh was infectious. So much so, in fact, that my mom suffered from laughing spells. Ones which lasted so long that she would begin to cry and have trouble breathing as a result. I honestly now believe it to be some sort of psychological disorder, but we all had fun, so it wasn't really an issue. She's what drove me to want to do comedy as a kid, and why I'm trying to work on stand-up now. The one to hear that laugh, to hear her laugh and to see her happy. When it happened, it was glorious. I would dress up in crazy outfits or do stupid impersonations, all in the name of getting that laugh. My mom's laugh. Some of the biggest lessons I learned from my mom came as I began writing this. My mom was a fighter who lived for others, spent her whole life caring and trying to help others. She never quit. She also never took that vacation she always talked about, never went to see the people she wanted to, never gave herself a chance to enjoy life. It was always later, or after I take care of this person, or after I do that one thing. My mom was a fighter through and through. I wish I could have found a way to help her not fight anymore. To show her a way that she didn't need to fight her entire life. My mom had a chip on her shoulder, one built up over a lifetime of fighting. In a small way, her kids have it too. So for my mom, I'm asking my brothers and my sister, especially, and everyone else in this room to take away this. Enjoy the little things in life. Take the extra 5-minute drive home and listen to that song you love one more time. Take a weekend and drive out to see friends or family. Don't worry about your job, it'll be there. Put time aside for yourself. Make yourself a priority. Life doesn't get easier as you get older, only harder, with more challenges that used to be easy. Love the ones around you and make sure that they know it. Finally, put your hands up and fight when you have to. But hold your arms out and hug someone when you want to or need to as well. I'd like to end with a prayer for my mom. In your hands, O Lord, we humbly entrust our brothers and sisters. In this life, you embrace them with your tender love. Deliver them now from every evil and bid them eternal rest. The old order has passed away. Welcome them to paradise, where there will be no sorrow, no weeping, no pain, but fullness of peace and joy with our Son and the Holy Spirit, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Love you, Mom. We're going to miss you. She's at peace now, which is all I ever wanted. Thank you.